What's up, y'all? I am Angelica with Guys Timing. I'm coming to share this video with you all talking about the elephants in the room. Basically, those major issues, concerns, topics, things that we ignore and don't want to acknowledge, whether it be in our families, on a job, in the world, across the board. Okay? Those things that we just keep acting like they're going to magically disappear, and they arise over and over again. Okay, it makes me think about what Ecclesiastes. It is a time for everything, right? A time for everything, a time and a season. We can brush off, continue to laugh on, chill on, whatever, as if these obvious things or occurrences that we're seeing in our communities, these obvious cycles and patterns of the wickedness, and it's not going nowhere. God allows things to happen for a reason, to get our attention. Not only that, the things that we touch, the things that we do, at some point, those seeds mature. It is what it is. Okay. You reap what you sow. Certain manifestations, whether it be the blessings or the curses or good or wickedness or whatever, things mature over a period of time, right? You keep watering your flowers, allowing it to get sunshine. At some point, it's going to blossom and bloom, right? If you take care of it. If you don't take care of it, it'll wither and die, right? So, and I know that was like a little side note, but anywho, just a lot of the different things that's going on, okay? Let me speak for myself real quick. I was always taught to be respectful, okay? Respectful of adults, give honor, what honor is due. Don't talk back, that's how I grew up, being an 80s baby. Even as an adult, okay? Always treat people with respect. We in high school and we in middle school, we trying to find ourselves. We have our moments like most people do, being children and teenagers. But when you come into maturity, supposed to be, as far as age, it's certain things or certain ways that you should carry yourself. Okay. Or even just basic common courtesy or respect for other people. So not only was I raised to respect others, and it followed throughout my adulthood as far as how I treat people, even just compassion, okay? Mercy, which is forgiveness, right? Even in the field that I work in, and me working in healthcare, especially over these past couple years, I look at how I've seen so many people suffering. I've seen so many people going through things, even people that I've met, just not even just the past few years, in general. Conversations that I've had, I've watched people battling stuff, people just talking about all kind of things that they've been going through, right? On top of, it made me feel like my little stuff is nothing compared to some of the things I've heard or people have shared with me, or even things that I've seen, right? It still doesn't discredit anything, as far as we all go through things, but we are affected differently as far as our life experiences. I've gotten to a point where we conversate about all the different things we see as far as social media, injustices. Let me be careful with my words, because I done got cut off about 3 times before I got on this video. All these different things with the church, just families, everything. And many still are unaware of what's going on. Or why do we still keep seeing these consistent occurrences, these copycat things that are taking place, people just losing their mind, the wickedness, that's going on. Many doors have been opened, right? Okay. Many doors. Let me slow down because, like I said, I don't want to have to do this video again and get cut off or blocked off or whatever they be doing on these channels. Many doors have been opened, right, to wickedness. So we see the level of anger increasing, mental health issues, right? Health issues, a lot of bickering and nitpicking, picking on social media, kids gone wild, adults gone wild, a lot of different things that's happening, right? On top of the shortages, on top of the new things that are coming out, an uprising, the pandemic, all these different things. And as I said, it's nothing new under the sun. And I've gotten to a point where we have those elephants in the room and those conversations that, people are scared to talk about or don't want to talk about, or where, what's the word? You might as well say, having people's hand over our mouth where we can't honestly speak truth as far as things that are taking place, things that we see, things that we experience, right? It gets covered up. It gets overlooked. But you get to a place where, what you gonna do? So as I said, like the continuous conversations, no more. So I know a lot of the things that are taking place in the fights that we're fighting, they're bigger and beyond our forte. It's only but so much we can do. We don't wrestle against flesh and blood, and we don't fight like the world fights. So I've been asking God to expose it all, okay? Judge a lot of this stuff. This is why it's so important for us to continuously, with a pure heart, working on ourselves, working on our own hearts, cleaning up. Because we see the death toll continuously rising and rising and rising. Judgment in the land. Many folk act as if this nation is just so peachy cream. And I get irritated when I see some of these folk on the news, black folk, always, let me see, how can I say this? Giving a stamp of approval to foolishness. To where, as far as, let me say it like this. Always in agreement, even when stuff be shady, stuff be wrong, like the different things we keep hearing, guns don't kill people. It's the person behind the gun. A lot of things are also distractions. Realizing and having to understand sometimes, are we seeing exactly what we're seeing, or has this been manipulated a little bit? We don't know all the time, right? Some cases we do, as far as, like with the pandemic. Very real, okay? Very real. So with me saying that, with all these different things, this wickedness, behind the scene, front and center, across the board, it is irking my nerve. And I've had to breathe for a minute and, talk to God, these past couple of days, and even before I did this video, because it's like, are my people tired yet? Is the body of Christ tired yet? But then that's even categorized too, because who's really a Christian? Because you see some folk, stuff happen, stuff go on, and you don't even speak on it. So when the Lord was giving me earlier in the year, and even last year, okay, what we did last year set the tone for this year. And we done bust 22 wide open, right? All the way. Okay. A lot of stuff hit the flow, was going on, happened early and quick. Okay. The Lord had been speaking, buckle up. Okay. Be aware. He's been warning. Okay. A lot of stuff we've been ignoring and missing, or just brushing under the rug, not paying attention. And then we seeing all these continuous things happening with the schools and the kids, and, stuff coming out that this person touched that person, and stuff that's not new. It's just a little more frequent and transparent. It's exposed, right? So when I look around, and like I said, I see, I've seen so many people that are hurt, are broken, battling, you got the folk just so absorbed with the money and the bags and all these different things, and the cars and the clothes, and we got food shortages, we got gas shortages, we got all these new arisings and upcomings and all these different things going on. Up until even the day of the flood in the days of Noah, up until it was too late, that's when people begin to see. So as I was saying, thank you, Holy Spirit, when I was speaking early in the year, when I wasn't speaking, the Lord was leading me to talk about, just judgment, judgment on the nations, judgment on God's people, on the leaders, basically everybody, right? Nobody's left out of that. Okay. But it's been so many distractions that have been taking place in the world. So a lot of things have been missed or overlooked, or, people, I guess, I don't want to say not paying attention, but become so numb because there's so much that's happening and taking place. But because so many reject the truth, I even look at it from the aspect as far as Black people, like my folk, like I've gotten to the point where I'm like, Lord, I ask that you just judge it all. It's a shame when you go out, or you have to go out now, not only for our men, but for the Black women, for our children, where we have to, have certain conversations with each other about being aware of our surroundings, being mindful, not only for our own people, because they going left and wide open too, for other folk that's having slick fingers, I guess you can say. That's a terrible thing. That's unfortunate. And then you have these same kissers, butt kissers, that you see these things happening, but it's not what it is. It's not what it seems. They did this and they did that. I'm tired of hearing about the Karens and the this and the that. And I'm just like, Lord, expose it all. He reminded me, that we are in the eye of the storm. And when you in the eye of the storm, that's where that damage comes. You get the rocking, okay? Stuff gets destroyed. We know about the injustices. We know about all these different things that has happened throughout history. These same cycles and patterns that we've been treated, and we overlook it, right? We ignore it. From the jobs to our families, everything. It has been ignored in the Black community towards us. Even the psychological damage, that mental, okay? Affecting how people think, because a lot of times when people will point the finger and talk about a lot of things that's happening, which folk do got their block, they look off, doing too much, the women out here, a lot of stuff we ended up falling into, I guess, in line with or being affected by it, that was even from before my time, right? As far as when they talk about the women, as far as the Black women following the white women, as far as what is it, laws and different things, and following their coattail, and things that happened that came from us getting Section 8 in the Black community, and what is it, different assistance and welfare that has broken, our homes, our family homes, and the unity of the Black community has helped, break it. And it is important to have family. I sit back and I look at the destruction. We all can see it. The destruction and the tearing up of the Black communities, right? The Black home, the Black family. We see it across the board. Okay. And the thing about it is, even though you may have some that feel like they making it or they think they good, as a collective, our culture has been being targeted and still being targeted. So we sit back and we watch our young men and our young women, and it's the same thing. You got women bickering and fighting about, I want a man, I want this, and he got to have 6 figures, and he got to have this, and he got to have that, and you ain't even your childish mindset. The way folk think. That's why I say maturity is so important, because you got adults, men and women, talking like children, bickering. That's exactly what it looks like to me. Bickering back and forth, arguing like children. He said this, she said that. If you don't do this, I don't do that. But then we sitting around watching our folk dying. Whether it be from disease, whether it be from sickness, whether it be from murder, she wrote, so many different pathways. We cannot do what everybody else does and get away with it. When I hear folk talking about, because you got a lot of people like in the school system or different jobs that are quitting and ready to come out. And I be wondering, do people think about this? This is some things I think about. Like if all the teachers coming out of schools, right, not really, want to deal with the different things that's happening. You can't really teach, dealing with some parents that's disrespectful, don't care, their kids disrespectful, you fighting, you don't listen. I get it. What you gonna do? Because you see when the pandemic hit and folk had to be home with their families, how they was acting, how they was tripping. So we don't realize how much we appreciate stuff till we don't have it. Even whether it be the doctors, nurses, healthcare, hospitals, okay, fast food restaurants, different places, service, okay, that we work in. Until you don't have it, or it's lower numbers, okay, of people that choose to work in those fields, it'll make you appreciate it. That's just like a relationship. Until somebody leaves or they say enough is enough, that's when you realize what you had, right? I lost a good thing. Or even sometimes it may have been a bad thing that you needed to let go. But I explain to people all the time, as far as I'm overhearing about, a lot of these elephants in the room, these problem areas. Some things are not meant to be fixed. They were created that way. If it's a system, it's built on a system. So that means it's created by those who created the system. So if you don't want to cooperate or move the way the system moves, like half of you folk in the matrix, like they can't even see, or they become so numb, like they in a movie or Avatar or, whatever, not even seeing the results that's taking place, the occurrences, the just whatever. Because I feel like that myself too. I said, being raised and taught to respect everybody and treat everybody right. And I'm a Christian too. Okay? Love God. Okay? I tell you all the time, I ain't Jesus. Jesus saves. It is him who saves. It is him who keeps and sustains me. Even when I can go to work and have compassion and mercy, whether it be somebody that don't like me for the color of my skin, whether it be somebody, regardless of how much in their bank account, which all these different things that we treat people different because of. When I go take care of somebody, none of that matters. So now I'm beginning to understand even more why God dealt with me so strong these past like 14 years, especially strong in 2019 to step out as far as forgiveness, releasing folk, okay, loving, learning to love properly. First and foremost, loving myself, but then loving other people. Through relationship with him, teaching me how to love right and have compassion and mercy, which is the fruit of the spirit too, right? How when you don't want to or you don't feel like it, because, as much as we reject, I ain't gonna say we, as much as many people reject God and mock God, he still gives opportunity because of his mercy, compassion, right? Being forgiving, giving chance after chance for people to heed and hearken to his voice. You can't say he didn't give you opportunity, because he gives everybody opportunity. And it's unfortunate how some things may happen, even with, with the kids, with the youth, with different people. It's unfortunate. Even with judgment. So the irony, when I see all these different occurrences continues to happen in the Black community, across the board, right? The Karens, the different things that we keep seeing. The injustices, everything. And then my folk, like I said, you can't go without talking about your own people too. These are my people, so I can talk about them, okay? Because I'm Black. I'm like, the ratchetness, right? Not even realizing, like, with our men and our women, how feeding right into the narrative. We missed it. We all did. We didn't know we was being played like puppets. We didn't know we was being held by the reins, how it was destroying our communities, how it was destroying our people, how it was destroying our families. But then sometimes it becomes like it's obvious. Do you see it? So that's a question that each individual has to ask for themselves. Do you want our communities to grow? Do you want more for our people? Do you want more for yourself? Do you want more for our men? Because if you still so consumed with sex and money and red bottoms and what's them hats, the red hats and all this other materialistic stuff that means nothing. Because what if you get a man or you get a woman, and I see folks see this all the time, you get sick, are they gonna be there for you? Because half y'all chicks, everybody in these dudes who you want a prenup and everything else, because it was all about money. It was all about what you could get from a person. But what about the reason for getting married or wanting to be married? A part of it is death do you part, through sickness and health. And some of y'all folk don't even ride like that. You complaining about not getting the right car that somebody blessed you with. You complaining about not having the right bag. Infatuated with BBLs and butts. Over sexualized generation. Lust is never satisfied. So the more you keep trying something, that's when the areas get open in, right? That's why folk end up leading to too far left. So now that's the thing. It came gradually, though. The infatuation with butts. Now that's all you hear. That's all folk want. We all got that, baby. Even dogs and cats and animals got that. Like Sodom and Gomorrah. That's I'm like, Lord have mercy, Jesus. So when folk want, they want compassion, it's let me just read it. It's a time and a season for everything, right? People want you to, feel for me, but Do you feel for us? This is why I'm like, Lord, you're going to have to help me. Because it's a problem, like I said, when you got to go out and you got to worry about or have to look over your shoulder and your back or worry about a folk watching you. First of all, I'm not going to be walking in fear. I pray before I go out and put my armor on, and I just ain't got time for all that. We stay ready around here. But at the same time, you reap what you sow. So that's the part I think people are just not coming to the realization of. Let me break it down for you. God ain't playing with nobody. Now it'd be lovely to just talk about the sing songs and talk about all the lovely things, but this wicked nation, as the heat keeps getting turned up and the pressure rises and the demonic and wickedness that we seeing that's manifesting. Folk playing, you keep playing with fire, you get burned. So many doors have been opened, gateways to the demonic. Let's just keep it all the way 100, straightforward. So many gateways to the demonic have been opened, not only from generation to generation, but then this generation, right? Things are so open, down for whatever. Then those little foxes that destroy the vine. So when people try to talk about everybody else, but you doing in your church, okay, black and white, okay, what folk doing in their houses and their families and different things, black and white, all different races, all different cultures, sweeping stuff under the rug because we're seeing stuff being exposed on all different levels. So he who without sin cast the first stone, as far as folk being touched on and dysfunctional stuff, abuse and all these different things. But we get that blame black thing going on over here, right? Blame black folk for everything. If a monkey jump over the fence, it's the black people, right? This should tell you something too, as far as my people, right? Our culture, everything. You hear people say, oh, it's because of the rap music. Partly, yes. It's because of this with black women. I've been hearing a lot of stuff lately, like folk been like on it. And we do have to take responsibility for part because, God holds us accountable for our part too, consequences. That's why the death toll is going up. I told you, God ain't playing with us. And because we are of a royal priesthood, the consequences are greater for us. But God still holds everyone accountable. So I'm like, do my people see that it was a trap? Now, like I said, a lot of us, we didn't see it. We didn't see it growing up. We wouldn't have. A lot of things none of us saw from church, we ignored a lot of stuff. We missed it. Some stuff was in plain sight as far as things we saw growing up in our family, certain things that we ignored, certain things that were pacified. We ignored a lot. But when you know better, you do better. It shouldn't be at the funeral or at the last minute or it's too late. It's the youth is dying, y'all. It's more parents bearing their children. I've been saying that over and over again. It is important for family. In order for you to build, or how can you build with total dysfunction? We already seeing things being destroyed. Okay? These systems, stuff crashing. And now that it's so transparent to see how much that we have been used and prostituting, even the wicked hand that has helped contribute to where we are as a people. And I'm not saying it on no pity type stuff. Okay. I'm not justifying anything as far as what people do when wrong is wrong. But when you think about the wickedness behind a lot of the things that we see, even when I see, like I said, different people that have wanted to take themselves out of here, losing their mind, that's in group homes, that's in this, the homeless, young homeless people out on the street, this happened and that happened. It's like, and we still having the same conversation like, oh, it was their lot. Or it's a wicked world, man. Wicked nations. When we see so many of our men and our boys that have got turned out, even with how many single parent homes we have, even with the women, that's why I say it ain't cute and it ain't okay. Okay? As far as with the women, you talk about you don't want no punk man, or you don't want no man that is weak. And like I said, some stuff we honestly transitioned into because it was before. So we getting the residue of what some of our parents and ancestors opened doors to. But this is the generation. Some doors have to be closed. Acknowledge and taking accountability that you help open some of these doors as far as our parents and our grandparents, ancestors. Even between just the damage and our black folk being cursed. It is exactly what it is. Okay? It is exactly what it is. Folk want to come up with all these different ideologies. It's exactly what it is. But the blessing part to know about it is that, I serve a God that loves his people. That he'll allow some stuff to be shaken up. Just like when Judas betrayed Jesus. How God will allow certain things to happen that's still a part of his will according to his plan. That if certain things don't happen, we wouldn't get in position. Because most people were just going about business as usual, just trying to live, turn up, live their best life, and wouldn't even come to their knees. Keep on with the same cycles and patterns, relationship after relationship, until either you get a wake-up call and you got a disease or you got too many kids. Like all this foolishness with the baby mamas, baby daddies, all this different stuff. Following suit. It's like when you got a friend and you see somebody, what you doing? You're not even acting like yourself. Doing too much to fit in. But we even got that from our own families where we competed, consciously and unconsciously. My kids are the best. Putting on at church, everybody, want to be, so perfect. Nobody is perfect. We're folk dealing with demons and dealing with issues and strongholds behind the scenes that's spilling over in the church, that's spilling over in relationships, that's spilling over in your families that didn't get addressed. So whether it be the school system, whether it be whatever it is, it's going to all take God. It's out of our control. But that's why I said, Lord, expose it all. So, and I know this video a little bit all over the place, but whatever. I said, we get to a point where a lot of folks sell out real quick for $1. I've even stopped listening to a lot of people, even watching certain things. Because it's like, you helping add fuel to the fire. Take us further and further backwards. So the other thing, that demon time. Yeah, them demons is running wild. This is why it's important to have God's hedge of protection over ourselves, over our children. What you open yourself up to, even this, this energy stuff, this spirituality stuff, the enemy has so many different ways to have people open. to the demonic, straight wickedness, because of things that we've touched. And the part that bothers me or hurts my heart is when I see these youth or these young folk out their mind, or having episodes and, not wanting to live and all these different things. It bothers my heart. Maybe you didn't have a mother, didn't have a father, or they were on drugs or some, how we got those different scenarios in the Black community. Okay. Different scenarios of parents being there, parents not being there. Somebody was on drugs, somebody was a dope boy, somebody was something. We all got those type of stories, and other people can probably relate too. But out of everybody, we are the last at the totem pole as far as the world, where you got people blatantly, then got blunt, smelling themselves, feeling themselves, that will attack. I'd be wondering, I'm like, do people see this? So that lets me know that we've let so much slide and pass everywhere. This is why that we hits, why that stuff busts. And so much is happening at one time. So now the enemy is super busy, right? For one, because he knows his time is short. So his goal is to get as many souls, capitalize on many souls as possible. He don't care how much money you have. He don't care if you naive or whatever. This is the thing. If you're not a threat, you wouldn't even understand what I'm talking about. Because a lot of times those ones that are like monotone, lukewarm, that still don't see stuff like right now, the stuff that's going on, you're not a threat. If you still worried about BBLs and materialistic stuff, and your maturity level, your mental ain't, you're not a threat. You're an easy target, but you're not a threat. So the enemy is busy seeking whom he can devour. He's on his job strong. He don't sleep. He don't slumber. But thank God that I serve a God that is a behind the scenes God. Just to encourage some, because I know this is kind of like, oh, she always talking about it, but I got to come real. The word says be watching and praying, discerning the times. I see over and over again things that God has shown me, things that God has been revealing in his timing to all of us, okay? In due time, right? All the different things that have been happening, bringing the pieces together, helping us to make it make sense. He's making it make sense, okay? You can choose to acknowledge it or not. But as I said, the death tolls are rising. A lot of these movies that we see, whether it be the ones with the spaceships, with the aliens, these strange things, whatever that new one is out, demonic. And it is all stuff that the enemy be trying to do, man. I'm trying to tell y'all, don't play with this stuff. It seems harmless. I used to think the same thing when I was younger or growing up, you know. I don't even watch scary movies. Certain things I don't want to watch. I don't touch. I close them. I'm like the kids when something nasty come on TV. Close your eyes. I don't want to see that part. I don't even want to watch stuff like that. Right? How your parents used to do you. Some people parents, the ones. Anyways, be mindful what you consume and what you watch. You become open. Stop wanting things so much. When you want so much, you can gain the whole world and lose your soul. People are losing their mind. My Black women, you are beautiful. All different shades of black. It's a shame even for us how we bicker, how we fight, how we have been conditioned to hate each other. Can't even have a conversation or walk past each other, without speaking. And I say you have a lot of men that will talk about women, but you help kind of make the women the way they are, along with social media and music and other stuff too. As far as feeling like the need to overcompensate for beauty, to be accepted, to be loved. You know, that's why I talk about when I say the competing on all levels, from men to women to family to races to culture to everything. Everything's like a competition. I gotta up one up. I gotta look the best. I gotta dress the best. I gotta be the best at everything. There's nothing wrong with being confident, but you got a lot of prideful people right now. Pride will lead you to destruction, because internally, a lot of folk be dealing with a lot of issues. This social media stuff, this putting on the front in front of people, a lot of people do that. But behind closed doors, they battling demons. They don't know what to do. They trying to, live life. They about to lose their mind, all kind of stuff. So is it worth putting on? And if the shoe fits where, if it don't apply to you, then keep it moving. But look at the destruction that is taking place. The self-sabotagation. Is that word? Self-sabotagation. Where the enemy has a lot of plots and schemes, right? But then he has specific strategic plans set in motion to help us destroy ourselves. Come on. Let's talk about my people. Rap music, come on. Destruction of the home, the cycles and patterns with that. Okay, lust. Okay, half naked people, get your eyes and get your attention off of what you need to be doing. Just a lot of stuff. But the very things that are used against us, other folk, it affects them too. But when you talk about a world and a nation, especially here, that has had so many strategic plans to destroy African Americans, let's say it for what it is, on top of other countries, Africa, Nigeria, all of us. I said, Lord, judge it all. But at the same time, I'm like, Lord, have mercy on your people. Forgive us where we've missed it, where we didn't know. I've mentioned if it had not been certain things that I went through or experienced, I wouldn't be where I am, even just my relationship with God, being closer to him, always seeking him more and more. I wouldn't be right there. So how do many think that God will have your undivided attention? Sometimes when the shortages come, when death comes, and you don't know the death angel lurking or is roaming, You see all these accidents, like people drive reckless, live reckless, just reckless across the board. Have no regard for life. It's hurtful. So when you see the wickedness at hand and the magnitude of how strategic it always has been, but now we see it clearly. When I heard the Lord say, buckle up, oh yeah, it's going down. All these things ain't happening by coincidence. It's going down. It's a lot that's taking place. So it's important for us to get our hearts right. Okay? If God delivered you and saved you, I don't care how old you are. You could be encouraging somebody else. It's a lot of youth that need help. Okay? Mentoring. But then folk got to stop being so stubborn and hard-hearted, calloused, where you so grown, can't nobody have a conversation with you because you a know-it-all. You think you know everything. That's the problem. It's like a whole bunch of bulls bumping heads, repelling because nobody wants to listen. Wisdom. You can get all the intellectual knowledge you want to get. But if you can't apply, even from your day-to-day life, that's the part of getting knowledge. Things that you learn, lessons that you learn, experiences. If you can't apply that to your life, you ain't understand nothing you learn. You didn't understand nothing that you learned. You didn't retain it. You just was getting information. So with all the different things that we see, all the different things that are happening, God has been warning us. I had notes to go over, but I'm at a point now where, we same conversations, in the last days, shut the book, folk, you read, you talk, but you got to want change. Now is the time. You don't know how much time you may have. The irony of how people want other people to be compassionate for them. If you go to a restaurant and you go eat somebody's food, or, you want the waitress to be respectful to you, to serve your table or your guests, with respect and, or whatever. If you go to the hospital, you go to the doctor, you want to have great customer service, because I'm big on customer service, because that's basically where I work my whole life. It's a part of my assignment. It's a part of my foundation, learning to serve. You want people to treat you right, speak to you right, do you right, right? You want to be treated, in such a way that, you feel appreciated. If you go somewhere, you don't want nobody to disrespect you like that, or treat you any kind of way, or harm you. You want to reciprocate it. But when you don't do that, that's the thing that it baffles me. People want what they don't give. So people will be out here reckless, fighting and taking people out over a piece of chicken because somebody didn't fix your McDonald's sandwich right. You mad because the way somebody looked. It's deeper issues. The root is a whole lot deeper than just the sandwich. Anger management issues, right? Hatred. Deeper issues that we keep trying to put a Band-Aid over. That it keeps bleeding through. Woe unto the shepherds that lead the flock astray. Woe unto loved ones and family members that continue to sit back laughing and keep keying. And you got family members out here going through stuff. I'm like, boy, that's another reason why you can tell it's real right now, because there's so much that's going on. A lot of chaos, a lot of confusion. But thank you, Jesus. The Lion of the tribe of Judah. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The word says that heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word will not return void. So if he said it, it is what it is. So people can debate back and forth still about, do I eat pork? Do I eat this? Do I go to church on Sunday, Monday, or Friday? It makes me want to do. Folk got the Holy Spirit. What spirit are you of, or what spirit resides in you? Because we read and we get interpretation and we perceive things differently, yes. But then the Holy Spirit will lead and guide you in all truth. So what's the problem? So while folk wasting time bickering instead of seeking God for themselves, for understanding, asking him or praying for it. You bickering back and forth, and the world is being destroyed. Families are dying. Kids are like all this stuff that's happening, and you arguing about petty stuff like they did in the Bible days. Like it has happened, nothing new under the sun, right? Petty stuff. So do you really want to see change? I like people that show you their true colors, because that's exactly what's been happening. The exposing has basically over these past few years, it's shown us the hands that are in everything. Wicked, straight wicked. Folk think that they can make somebody. You can't make nobody change, especially if they evil, if they hateful, angry. You can't make nobody change. They change on their own time, or either they don't change at all. Can't make nobody change. It's been over 400 years and folks still ain't changed. So it's no conversation that's needed. But the wake-up calls is, we gotta wake up, folk. Especially my people. These folk trying to make us extinct in different ways. But then the daggone thing about it is legal. I said the school system, all these different, like, we see all these different things. Those elephants in the room. But help is on the way. But because many choose to reject the truth, God allows his wrath and judgment to touch the land. We want to, be fruitful and multiply. And, who doesn't, I don't say who doesn't, but, many of us, you want to be married and family. We learned a lot of things wrong, but you got to work on you before you can do any of that. Putting God first is the first thing. You have a choice to believe what you want to believe and do what you want to do. But many other people know what time it is. It's our people that don't even realize the magnitude or severity of what's affecting our communities, what's still affecting our families, how we are damaging and hurting each other, even by being in agreement and putting your 2 cents in for a check or for $1. Hell is real, and folk busting it wide open. Jesus. Just let's basic common sense. If you do wrong and you do evil and you commit crimes, you go to jail, right? Because people are always putting angel wings on everybody, like everybody's going to heaven. I'm not putting nobody in heaven or hell, so let me correct that. But if you live a lifestyle of continuously, destroying your body, destroying, wickedness or just whatever, it comes with consequences. That's like just the basics. But it's time for believers to wake up, man. The wickedness, the spiritual warfare is so high. And you got people out here that need help and can't, don't know how to fight or don't, many are trying to fight natural things or deal with natural situations that are spiritual. Point blank, period. People that's tricking off and popping off in the mental, whatever, even the ones that's just the lifestyle, spiritual. So when you begin to touch certain stuff, you open up doors. So it's a lot of doors that's been open and need to be closed. So you end up giving Satan legal rights. So even a lot of the wickedness that's happening and stuff that's taking place, Satan has legal right. God uses it. He uses it. So I know this video is a little bit all over the place, but as I said, it's a time for everything. Let me go ahead and read the scripture. Ecclesiastes 3:15-17. What is has already been, and what will be has been before. And God will call the past to account. And I saw something else under the sun. In the place of judgment, wickedness was there. In the place of justice, wickedness was there. I said to myself, God will bring into judgment both the righteous and the wicked. For there will be a time for every activity, a time to judge every deed. We all have to give an account for everything that we do, regardless of what religion, what you believe, what you think, or whatever. Everybody has to give an account. You reap what you sow. The thing about it is, things that you do, it affects your kids, it affects those around you. When we don't address and acknowledge generational curses, cycles and patterns, doors that we've opened, stuff from our ancestors, we all have to give an account. That's even these nations. Everybody. You have to give an account. There is no running. There is no hiding. There is no, I'm not subject to any change, because I've seen people on their deathbed where folk will get saved sometimes on their deathbed. Sometimes folk don't. They just be like, whatever. You have that choice, right? You have that choice. But anywho, as I said, just talking about a few different things. Like I said, I know this video was a little all over the place, but it bothers me, to see the level of suffering and hurt and, the same wicked stuff going on. It gets draining. It's draining. That's exactly what it is. It's draining. Watching parents and grandparents or, just going through stuff. The youth.